Today's comic takes place in the Pacific Northwest, so before you pick up this common dollar bin comic, make yourself a coffee and watch my review of Marvel's Nomad #1 from 1992. Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Dagley. I'm a comic collector, affordable treasure hunter, and dollar bin nomad. Welcome to my channel where I help you get into the hobby of collecting comics without breaking the bank. If you're also a fan of the dollar bin, I suggest you hit the subscribe button before we dive in. In Nomad #1, we follow a mysterious, well-armed, and beautifully long-haired man named Jack Monroe and his baby daughter Bucky as he struggles to find honest work in Seattle. When Jack replies to an ad for a handyman, he ends up meeting a woman named Gloria at the top of the Space Needle. She explains that a man named Giscard Epure is blackmailing her to steal documents from her place of work at the Seattle Port Authority. She doesn't want to break the law, but at the same time she feels very threatened by this man blackmailing her. So Jack decides that a good old vigilante butt whooping is in order and takes the job. Hey, speaking of doing good for the world, why don't you give that like button a butt whooping? Or a button whooping, if you like. In the meanwhile, we travel back in time 6 months and across the country to Washington, D.C., where we meet a woman named Andy Sturman. She's a superhero psychologist, cigarette smoker, and she is in some hot water. Apparently, she was a therapist to Jack, who we learn was a failed super soldier, a fallen superhero named the Nomad, and ultimately he became this maniacal, guns-blazing vigilante who was responsible for the lawless massacre of a drug ring in Alaska. To save her career, she's recruited to bring Jack in 8 months. Which gives Jack 2 months. He's a rough fighting fugitive with high-tech weapons like stun discs, grappling hooks, and other gear. And with his baby daughter Bucky strapped to his back, Nomad travels America, handing out butt whoopings for cash. Alright, so the verdict. If you see Nomad #1 in the dollar bin, should you buy it? Heck yeah. And I'll give you 2 good enough reasons. 1. The location gimmick. If that stays consistent throughout the series, I think that's going to be a lot of fun, especially if he goes to one of the towns that you live in. And built into the cover, we've got this map of the US, so maybe we'll find out. And 2, because we all need a good map for when the machines rise. And depending on when you watch this, that could be right now. No, but really what I think people would like about this is the 90s style that's portrayed throughout, starting from Nomad himself to some of the side characters that he deals with. What people might not like is that the plot is a little bit disconnected and a little bit confusing. It's almost as if I had to assume a few things, and I don't want to spoil it here. There's probably no reason for Nomad to be fighting Epure throughout the book at all. He could have skipped the entire thing, it seems. However, I'll let you be the judge of that. If you did read the book, leave a comment below. Thanks a lot.